This afternoon, I want to talk about a human immune system, right? How immune system works. Immune system is really interesting because when you draw your blood and take a look at all these different kinds of blood cells under the microscope, then you see the variety of cells, many different kinds of cells. What cells you see most often? Red blood cell, of course, see? So that's why blood is red, because there's so many red blood cells. When you remove all the red blood cells, and then blood look white, Why? Because there's a colorless white blood cells are in there. See? So these white blood cells, then there is a little tiny cells called the platelet. So if you remove them, then all you have left is what? White blood cells. We in the laboratory we call it WBCs, white blood cells. Okay. These white blood cells are the immune system. There are many different kinds of white blood cells. And okay. Now let's take a look at immune system. First of all, okay. These are all different kind of blood cells you can find in your blood. These are red blood cells. These are platelet. Okay, if you remove them, the rest of them, all these are the immune system. Okay, they're all sort of white blood cells. They have their specific job assigned. That means they're specifically programmed in the genes. Okay. You can see this, you can see how elaborate programming is done there. But first of all, before we really get into each white blood cells, I want to talk to you about this cell here. Okay, all right. Now this cell. Look at that. Hematopoietic what? Stem cell. Stem cell. Today is the era of stem cell era, okay? When here with George is here, and Dr. Kim is here, but when we're in medical school, we never heard of this, right? Stem cell. Stem cell. And there's stem cells. And all these different kinds, variety of cells are coming from where? From stem cell. From stem cell. So this stem cell is being produced in the bone marrow. Now, we thought only bone marrow produces stem cell. But nowadays, doctors find out everywhere there are stem cells being produced. What is stem cell? Stem. What is stem? Stem. Stem is what? Stem, right? From the stem, it goes out what? Branches. Okay. So, all these different white blood cells and the platelets and the red blood cells are all what? Branch cells. They're all branch cells branching out from what? Same stem cell. Yeah. Actually, all the cells we have, like a brain cell, liver cell, kidney cell, skin cell, no matter what kind of cell they are, they're all what? Branch cells, actually. Why? Because, see, I am 60. last May 13th was my 60th birthday. And, okay. Well, roughly 60 years ago, in one night, most likely it's a night. Okay. My mom and dad did something very interesting. Okay, very interesting. And then, up until that moment, Shang Li wasn't existing at all, right? And in my mother's womb, what happened? That my mom's egg and my dad's sperm met. And my daddy's sperm delivered my daddy's gene into my mom's egg, right? So, okay, let's look at the picture. And okay. Right here. Right? So this is what is this? This is uterus here. Uterus, actually uterus is cut, right? And this is fallopian tube. This is ovary. So ovary is producing egg. So this ovary is sending this egg into the what? Fallopian tube. Then egg begin to travel. Okay? And then my daddy's sperm started here. And sperm comes over, and finally what? So this is a little bit magnified picture here. So finally this one sperm delivers my daddy's gene. Finally, one single cell is formed. That's the beginning of you and I. My daddy did not know that happened. My mommy did not know that happened. Nobody knew that happened. Only God knows that happened. Only God knows that Shang Li is now formed. See? And then this is how many cells right now? One single cell. This one single cell begin to divide. See? And divide. It becomes 2 cells, 4 cells, 8 cells, 16 cells, 32 cells, 64 cells, 128 cells, and see, dividing. See? Yeah, amazing. So if that keep on dividing like that for 9 months, after 9 months, who's going to come out? Bunch of cells. Bunch of cells. You know? This is very interesting. But instead of bunch of cells, who comes out? Baby Shang Li came out. How did it happen? Well, let me make it very simple. I'm an expert making everything simple. Okay. Yeah. And look, see, cell divides, right? 2. This is 8. Boy, a lot of cells. Lots of cells here. Okay. So if you keep on going this way, you're going to have what? You're going to have a baby-size cell, bunch cells. That's all. Right? But you know what? When this cell become 1 million, all the cells look exactly same. The next moment, how many cells we're going to have? 2 million, right? Yeah. Then when cell become 2 million from 1 million, suddenly each cell looks what? A little bit different. Then next moment it become what? 4 million. Then cells begin to even look more different from each other. Then it becomes 32 million. Then, wow. Then some cells look like what? Brain cells. Some cells look like liver cells, lung cells. They are gathering together. But gradually what? Brain is forming, liver is forming. Shaping up as what? Baby. Huh. Now, why it was started with what? Started with the same cell. Same one. How many cells? One cell. One cell. We were one cell. One cell with all the genes in it. So as cell divides and multiply, then you know what? It is God appoints which cell to be which cell. Isn't it? By what? By how God does that? By sending what? Spark to wake up certain genes. So there's a million, the 10 million cells there, then God knows exactly. God sent, okay, you become brain cell. How does God do that? How God can make that cell, right now, that cell has no characteristic, no assignment has been given. Okay. It is just like a raw doctor, you know. When we doctor graduate medical school, we can go any direction, right? It can be an ophthalmologist like a Dr. Chen, you know, can be a radiologist, and it can be like an internist, you know, right? So we all have an internist gene, radiologist gene, ophthalmologist gene when we graduate, yeah. But it depends upon which genes are activated. Then, about what, 10 years later, Dr. Chen does not know anything about pediatrics. Yeah, see? And Dr. Li does not know anything about ophthalmology. We all forget. Only thing we know is what? What I chose to become. See? That's the way our body is. We still do have all the genes in each one of our cells. But every single cell in our body is specializing in one area. Because it is God clicked brain gene, and then it becomes brain cell. Even though that brain cell has what? All skin gene, stomach gene, kidney gene, any gene, but they are still what? Sleeping. See? Isn't that amazing? So, literally, God is making what? Making baby. Let me make it a little bit more interesting, okay? That God does make baby. Okay. I haven't used this picture. Okay, just 1 second. I don't think I can find it right now. Okay, let me just explain it. You know, when scientists observe very carefully, you know, in our cell, in your healthy cell, there's a gene which make that cell to die. Isn't that interesting? Well, in a bad term, it's a suicide gene, you know. When that gene that gene received spark and activate, you know what happened? That cell dies. Isn't that interesting? There's nothing bad comes in, but cell, okay, I guess we are commanded to die. So there is a program to die. So it is just like a computer, what? You cannot turn off the computer just like that, right? There's a, what? Turning off processes, right? So if you just command the computer to turn off, the computer program does turn off, right? So it takes time to turn off completely. And you know what? Our cell is just like a computer. If cell receives the command to die, it has its own program of death. So that gene scientists call programmed cell death gene. PCD gene, so that they usually call PCD. Or in classically speaking, they call it apoptosis. This is more sort of a Greek. Apoptosis means killing themselves. Okay. So it is different from what we doctors know, necrosis. Do you know what necrosis means? Yeah. Yeah. Necrosis means something came from outside killing the cell. That's a necrosis. Okay. Apoptosis means nothing came in, no harm came in, but cell died by itself. Okay. So scientists found PCD genes. See, this gene was a very important gene. You know, it is very interesting. This morning I talked to you a little about cancer. But normally, when your gene is so badly damaged beyond repair, okay, and that cell become unusable, do you know what happened? This PCD gene is activated, received the spark by God, of course. Do you know what that cell do? They die. So this is the way our body prevents developing cancer cells. But somehow, the gene I explained this morning, which is what? P53 gene, right? P53 gene produces what? Remember? Yeah, resting substance, right? Tumor suppressor protein, which makes cell have what? Rest, right? See. So this P53 gene need to be healthy to activate this PCD gene. Isn't it interesting? So when P53 gene goes away, then this gene does not function. That's why cancer cell can exist. But actually what this gene does is, like, let's say, when embryo is forming in the mother's womb, okay, so let's say at the beginning, this is all just a bunch of cells like this. And then it begin to shape. Let's focus on just, hand formation, okay, both sides. So this is beginning of hand. Then gradually this grows like this. Okay. Okay, let's ignore this part, okay? Let's focus on this part. So gradually grow like this. Then finally grow like this. So this portion will become what? A hand, okay? Then gradually goes like this. Okay. Now, let me just erase this part. Okay. Now, okay. Then how the fingers come out? Interesting, right? Do you know how God makes fingers? This is so cute. Yeah. Really? Yeah. Well, yeah. I think Vicky gonna pass out. Okay. To have a finger, we have to have what? It has to be like this, right? Right? Yeah. So this part of the cells are not what? Are not needed. See? Guess what happens to this cell here in the black part here? They receive spark on what? PCD gene, and they die. So God is literally what? Sculpturing, isn't it? Sculpturing with what? Spark. He actually sculptures, baby, you know that. I was so tickled to death. You know? In the mother's womb, God is actually sculpturing the hand. Wow. Praise the Lord, right? See, when you study the gene and focusing on Creator, it's amazing. You cannot deny it. He is an artist, right? Yeah. He literally sculptures with invisible sparks. So, okay. And where was I? Why did I come here? Huh? I forgot, I lost. Huh? Yeah, that's right. I left immune system, right? Yeah. Okay. So let's go back to immune system. Yeah. Yeah. So, well, lawyers should never forget that, right? If lawyers do this in the court, boy, it's Judge, where was I? Okay. So, so there is a stem cell everywhere. So today, scientists are finding stem cells everywhere. Even in the brain, ladies and gentlemen, because nobody ever thought in the brain there's new cells are being formed every day. It was impossible for us scientists to imagine that. Why? Because the brain is a very famous organ where all the cells are dying every day. See? In our medical school, we learned in our brain, 10,000 cells dying every day. That's the way we learned. And no more new brain cells. The brain cell is so evolutionary what? Highly so-called differentiated. So the brain cell, new brain cell can never emerge. That's how we learned. But you know what? That's not so. As I showed you before, showed you, look. New nerve cells for the, whose brain? Adult brain. Now, even in adult brain, there is what? New nerve cells. Really? New nerve cells. Look at it. This is what, can you see this? This is stem cell, okay? Stem cell. Stem cell is being born every moment. Is it? Okay. Like a skin, your face. Even though you just do this, do you know what's happening? Tens, thousands of skin cells are being what? Being wiped out. See? Actually, you have a sort of microscopic video camera, It's just like a dust. So if you have in the morning you wake up, you wash your face and you rub your face with a towel, there's just millions of skin cells are taken out, right? You know what? If you do that for about 10 days, you know what? You're going to see your skull. Unless what? Unless new skin cells are being formed every day. See? Skin cells are layered, see? Layers of skin cells. A bottom and very primitive skin cell, a little bit more matured, about 4 layers. It's just like a mountain, right? Safford Mountain. Hila, Mount Hila? Yeah. And you go up, there is what? There's zones, right? You go up there, there's finally you see what? Pine zone, right? Just like that, skin cells like that. That's the different zones. The maturity is different. See? So, so skin, even though the top layer, okay, the surface layer constantly what? Yeah, wiped out, wiped out, wiped out. There's a constantly new layers comes up. Where are these new cells coming from? You know where it is coming from? From your food. Yeah, from what you're eating. And then some of the nutrient goes here, you know. Then it forms new cells. We call it a skin stem cell. There's a brain stem cell, bone marrow stem cell. You are, and you and I are literally being what? Being created. Every moment. To maintain this creation here, God has to create the same what? Stem cell literally every moment. Awesome. Yes. Praise the Lord, right? We are, you are not just a created being. You are the being who are undergoing what? Continual creation. God is continually doing same thing what He did in the Garden of Eden, in our body. See? That's Creator. See? Isn't that awesome, right? Yeah. Yeah. So we all have a hope, no matter what kind of disease you have. Because what? Let's say somebody has autoimmune disease. That means what? The T cell has been altered, it become crazy enough to attack their own tissue, right? You know, then your T cell gonna be forever that way? No. That crazy T cell will someday all going to what? Die. See? Then constantly, even this moment, in your bone marrow, you're producing what? New T cells. When new T cells are formed, these T cells are normal T cells. This T cell has normal genes. Not like these what? Old T cells who are altered and attacking your own thyroid gland, your own what? Joints. See? These T cells are not autoimmune. After these T cells are formed, then these new T cells are being influenced by your own what? Feelings. Yeah. And become abnormal T cell and still do the same thing. So that's why it is important for us to receive what? New spirit, isn't it? The truth. Then we have our T cells, brand new T cells will no longer be influenced by false ideas, right? Yeah. And then finally, our T cell will be set free from the false ideas. That's how your T cell is going to be no longer what? No longer autoimmune T cells. Your T cell is going to be a real born-again T cells. Hey, right? Yes. Yes. Your brain cell same way. See? Your brain cell is going to be renewed brain cell. So that's what, look at this. What this picture really shows you. See? The early stem cell finally grow, mature a little bit. Then this is first step, right? Then second step, maturity. Almost look like a brain cell. These are the mature brain cells you see here, okay? And then third step, now matured brain cell, right? So, you can have a new brain cell if you need. Like I already explained about Alzheimer's disease, right? In Alzheimer's disease patient, this process is closed. Why? Do you remember nun study? Catholic nun study? Why? Why this process is closed? That's right. There's no need for the new brain cell. Well, you know, I don't want to think about anything. Forget it. Well, I don't know why I'm living. See? Then there's no need for the new stem cell. So God is willing to what? Develop this new stem cell. And God cannot do the what? Creative work. Because you don't want that. You don't want God to what? Form the new cells in your body anymore. But why? You want to die. So you say, okay, I'll have alcohol. I want to smoke. Well, I don't care whether I kill or not. Why should God produce new stem cells, right? It is against His justice, you know. Yeah. See? Because I want to die according to whose will? Satan's will, right? Satan successfully deceived you, and you decided to follow Satan's path. Can God force you to have a new cells? No. Satan will have some opinion about it, right? Oh God, why are you doing this? It's against what? Against the law, right? Against whose law? God's law, really. Because God can never, it doesn't go along with what? Love principle, when God is love. Love never forces anyone, right? Yeah. And so this is how new brain cell can be formed. So, you know, I have experience that in Pittsburgh, I have a physician. He's an internist and he's also a physiotherapist, PMR specialist. And also he's a pathologist. You know, he got 3 medical board. He's from Gwangju. Sort of genius, you know. He studied everything, and he has a pathology lab. He has internal medicine practice. He has physical medicine, you know, practice. So busy, and he didn't take care of his wife. You know, he was so busy making what? Money. Then his wife, one day his wife said, "I'm leaving," and he was so depressed. So depressed. And he didn't know what to do. He saw a psychiatrist and didn't work. Finally, somebody told him to go to New Start. So he came. And he was amazed to learn this kind of thing. Wow, meaning. Wow. Then he was completely out of depression himself. He got all the videotapes, you know. His father in Korea just retired from being, he was elementary school principal. He was a very, you know, legalistic man. Black and white. And once he's retired, he's no longer what? Principal. Nobody talked to him anymore, you know. And he developed Alzheimer's disease. He became depressed, and then, you know, when his son sent this videotape, his father was watching. Interesting. But father immediately forgets. But all he knows was what? It was interesting. So he repeat, turn it on again. Interesting. Then he forgets again. Then he repeats. Why? Because every time he look at, it's interesting. See, when you forget, it's interesting, you know. So he was really enjoying it, you know. Sometimes all day long he's watching same tape, same lecture. You know what? without knowing, he's beginning to memorize it. Yeah, see? Beginning to call his what? His daughter, who is also a physician, beginning to talk about what he saw from the lecture, videotape. And when he was talking to his daughter and he forgot, then he turned it on again. Wait, you know. He found the meaning, right? He found the new information. It was tickling, right? He was stimulated. You know what? After 1 year, his Alzheimer completely recovered. Yeah. It's amazing. It is amazing. See, how the meaning, its power of truth, right? The truth will give you meaning, right? When it is false, it's meaningless. Like a soccer, you know, golf, whatever, right? What is so meaningful to put the little tiny white ball into the hole, you know? But, see? But I don't degrade the golf completely because you need to do the exercise. Okay, that's fine. But some people are so hooked to it, you know, that many retired wealthy people cannot live without playing golf. If there's no golf, they rather not live, you know. There's a lot of people like that. Yes, I know a lot of people, you know, like that. It's just, because I saw them, you know. I met them. You know, I met them, those kind of people in Miami Beach. You know, yeah. And all they do is playing golf. They have lots of money. They live on the beach, you know. And you know what? One time I was invited because one of them came up to New Start program because diabetes was out of control. So he got the New Start. And his diabetes is completely under control. He was just enthusiastic, and he just pulled me down to Miami. I have many, many friends just like me. You need to come down, you know, to help them. So the first night, you know, about 25 people just like that gathered, you know. It was just ex-doctors, retired lawyers, and all these wealthy people, retired businessmen. You know. They're sort of what? All look like they only perk up when they go to what? Golf course, yeah. Otherwise, they're all sort of poofed. So that evening, I gave a nice lecture, and they liked it. But in the morning, next morning, they had to go to golf. You know, they had to play the golf. So they invited me. You know, they sort of felt bad for leaving me alone. You know. So they sort of persuaded me. So I said, okay, let's go. So I just wanted to see their lifestyle. That's all. You know. It was hot day. You know, in Miami Beach, it was 88 degrees in Miami Beach. That's killing, really. It's humidity and it's horrible. You know. And you know what they're saying? They're playing golf. So I was sitting in the, you know, the car and watching them. You know what they're talking about? You know what they're talking like this? They say, hey, we will never come out in this hot weather if we are told to do work to make a living. I said, what? You're not going to work, you know, to make a living in this kind of, you know, hot temperature, but you want to play golf in this? I really found that they're really hooked. You know, without golf, life is meaningless. There's a lot of people like that. It's too sad, you know. But, so finally I had to tell them, you know, in my lecture, you know, because when I saw them, you know, when they're putting green, you know. Wow, what a concentration, you know. I begged them. I said, please, if you share just 10% of that concentration to study the Bible, then you'll be much happier than you are. You know? Yeah. Okay, use that 90% playing golf. Okay, just 10%. Because these people pay all the attention to the golf, no attention whatsoever and on anything else. Really, they're so concentrated. And when the ball is just, you know, in the hole, then they say, yeah. I said, they are feeling that joy with the hole, right? The exactly same joy I have what? When I found the truth in the Bible. You know? Hey. So I found out all this concentration, all this effort is taken away from the Bible. Really. They could, but they don't want to use that. So I worked hard with them, you know, to what? To share at least like a 20%, you know. Yeah. Then they'll be so happy. Yeah. But I don't know what's happening now. But I thought they were going to invite me every year, but I didn't hear from them. Okay. And so the stem cells, okay, let's go back to immune system again. Okay. And isn't that fun, the thinking that those people who's going to see, watch this videotape also going to laugh? Right. Okay, yeah, here we go. Okay, this is stem cell. Okay, stem cell. So stem cell is produced in the bone marrow, and it become all different cells. T cells, what? B cells, NK cells, right? What was the NK cell? Yeah, NK cell is a natural killer cell which have a surface contact and kill the cancer cell. NK cells. And this is an interesting cell. This is called dendritic cells. Dendritic. We never learned about this when we were in medical school. This is a sort of new cells recently found. Okay, and this called granulocytes, and there's a macrophage. There's many different kind of granulocytes, but we don't see the picture here. But macrophages. Okay, these are the immune system. Okay, let me talk about these dendritic cells. Okay, very interesting job they have. These are the kind of like spy cells. Okay. They pretend they're like what? They're hobos, you know, or they're, you know, construction workers, you know, also. So they're everywhere in our body. You know what they're doing? They're gathering informations, intelligence gathering. So when these guys begin to meet, happen to meet the strange cells, you know, like a cancer cell, you know. And then it goes, hey, how you doing, guy? You know. So then have a cup of coffee together, you know. So they ask their names, you know, and they get their identity. Then you know what this cell do? Then this cell gathers the information on strange cell. This cell shouldn't be here, you know. And then it goes to T cells. And goes T cell and report all the information. Then T cell says, oh yeah? See? Or where the cancer cells. So T cells have all the information. Then God begin to click and send the T cell where the cancer cell is. Then this T cell recognizes, this is the guy I was given all the what? Information, intelligence about. Isn't that what? Interesting system, you know? Yeah. So every single cell has its own what? Its own assignment was given. These cells eat up bacteria. Okay, I'll show you a little bit further. And these B cells, they produces gamma globulin, or we call antibodies. Okay. So they have all different specific jobs to do, right? Yeah. Well organized. Okay. Okay. Now another important point here is, inside the bone marrow, God will continually form produce these stem cells. But for you to have a healthy immune system, all these cells need to be in right percentages. Okay? You don't know what percentage it should be, right? But if I draw your blood, you have a just right percentage, which you did not control that percentage, right? Right. Now, who did it? God. God made this what? This 15%, this what? 25%, this 5%, this. Just exactly the right percentage for you. Wow. Right? By clicking. So that's why God knows how many T cells you have. See? That's why God knows how many dendritic cells you have, even though you don't know how many you have. Because God made it, see? And the God is controlling, God is even controlling that percentage. Okay. Now, look at this. This is the Nature, okay? This is the most prestigious scientific magazine. Look, this is, look at it. A what? Dendritic cell. So this is a special article on dendritic cell, which is a very recent. Let's see, when was that? Oh, yeah, very recent, August 2002, August 29th. Okay, and look at this. Dendritic cell does what? Antigen presentation up close. This means, what antigen means, this is information about cancer cell, information about viruses, and so on. See? So that we call antigen, okay? And presentation. Well, so information presentation to the T cell. So they found how those dendritic cells present information. This purple cell is a T cell. And this red cell is dendritic cell. There's one dendritic cell here and the other one here. So two spies came and the reporting what? Presenting the information. And T cell is now receiving the information. See? God made them this way. You know, that's why we don't have to worry about anything really. But we do worry, don't we? Yeah. It is entirely God's job to do. See? Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm. Now, So this is immune system. Okay. The most important immune system is this thymus gland. The reason why T cell become T cell is because when this primitive cell comes and when that primitive white blood cell is sent to the thymus, then this is a special training center because T cells are special cells. So T cell T, that the abbreviation T, capital T, came from thymus. So actually what I call is a thymus degree. Okay? So when T cell, when that white blood cell graduate thymus university, then they have T degree. Okay? That's why they called T cells. Okay. And then there's many what? Tonsils here, adenoids, even what? Appendix. These are all important immune system. Okay? We do a lot of appendectomies, but scientists later on we found out appendix is full of what? Full of T cells. Yeah. Why? You need this. Like a tonsils, adenoids. So appendix is right at the junction between the colons, where the colon starts and the small intestine ends. Why you need immune system there? Because in colon there's a bacteria. In small intestine you should not have what? Bacteria. So T cell is what? When a bacteria trying to come into the small intestine, hey, get away. So it is what? Protecting small intestine. Yeah. Like a tonsil, right? Yeah. And we breathe, and a lot of bugs, germs, and tonsils right here. There's a lot of T cells here. Protect you. So God designed that way. You didn't design yourself, right? Yeah. See? So, and then also, it is just like a capillaries. There's a lymphatic vessels. It's just like capillary, all over the place. So this T cell and B cell always travel through the what? Lymphatic vessels. Of course, they travel in the blood vessels too. So these lymphocytes, T cell and B cells, are very important. Okay, now, next. This is how B cell look like, a little bit bigger, right? And this is how T cell look like. Yeah. And look at this is T cell, this is B cell. The T cell produce something, giving to the B cell to what? To instruct what this B cell should do, right? So the T cell is always a boss over the B cell. Okay, next. Okay, and this is a capillary blood vessel here, and this is a cut open. You can now see inside of the blood vessel. You can see here many red blood cells. These are granulocytes you just saw lined up to get out of the blood vessel. Here, this is outside the blood vessel. Something is happening outside the blood vessel, so many blood cells already came out of the blood vessel, doing some job. Why? Because here, this is the germs. Bacteria invaded. See? This we call streptococci. Okay. Streptococci invaded into the tissue, and you don't know whether a germ came in or not, right? You have no knowledge. You have no conscious knowledge. But it is God knows. So God sent them out to handle this. So first of all, T cell goes out. This is T cell. This is B cell. So T cell is giving instructions, signal, spark to the B cell. And B cell is now producing antibody. This tiny Y's are antibody. See, why, right? This tiny Y tiny antibody work just like a handcuff. When policeman is arresting criminal, he handcuffs first, right? To immobilize it, right? Yeah. So this is exactly what's going on. So once it is handcuffed, then T cell says to this granulocyte, eat them up. So then, look, they're eating them up. Wow. And look at it. This is granulocyte. This is the germs. So this is a handcuffed germs, okay? Once it is handcuffed, and granulocyte go there, and we doctors call this hand pseudopod, okay? And this is also, this pseudopod goes out like, there is a pseudopod controlling gene. So when that gene is sparked, then so that's why even though this granulocyte don't see, don't have any eyes, nothing, but they know exactly where those germs are. Okay. Once it comes closer to the surface, now it's sort of what? It opens up. Then it just eat them up. Then once the germs get inside, then there's new genes are turned up, turned on to produce some poison to kill these germs. What a system, right? Hey. And this is NK cell, now what? Tackling on to the surface of the cancer cell, and this NK cell produces some kind of what? Puncturing knife, and puncture the cancer cell surface. Look, this cancer cell is losing liquid content and dying. Next. This is cancer cell. This is T cells. Now surround. See? This is all. They don't know what cancer cells look like. So God sent them. Then they check identity, comparing with what? Information received from dendritic cells. Then it is correct. Then, this is a cancer cell. Once it is recognized as a cancer cell, then this T cell begin to kill this cancer cell by producing these substances, chemical substances we call lymphokine or lymphotoxin to kill the cancer cell. So look, cancer cell is now collapsed. This T cell normally look like this, round and small, but once it is clicked again to kill, to produce lymphokine, then this T cell look like flattened and elongated. See? Interesting. And now cancer cell is collapsed. Now look, cancer cell is completely dead, only debris of cancer cell left, and T cell recovered its own shape, and the 9 bodies are gone somewhere else to do the other job, but this guy is still what? Watching. So what's going to happen with this debris? There's a macrophage, okay? There's another cell called the macrophage comes over and eat them up, and then clean them up, and later on to use better protein to kill the germs or something. Aha! What a system! So God already put in this entire program. That's right. So it's all the matter of God's what? Sending spark and activating the system, right? Okay, now, in what situation God can do this job? It's all His job, We cannot ourselves, no way activate any single genes, right? But in what situation, in what circumstances, God can do this job? He would like to do this job. He enjoys doing this job. In what situation He can do His job best? Okay, forget about that question. We'll come back to that question a little later. In what kind of situation God can't really perform this job?
When we won't let Him.
That's right. When we won't let Him. How?
We refuse Him.
Refusing. How?
Don't listen to Him.
Don't listen to how.
Do unhealthy stuff.
When you are worrying about it. I have cancer. As if nobody, what? Fight for you. As if nobody supports you. As if there is no program to fight with cancer. You know? See? Yeah. Then it's Satan's ground. Yeah. That is what? That is refusal, isn't it? Refusal, all this refusal is caused by deception. We cannot outright refuse God, right? So, to make us refuse God's work like this, all Satan have to do is what? Deceive us. You know. So what he can tell you is this. See, you did something bad. See, you sinned. You didn't listen to God. See, don't you remember? You hate someone, you know, and you never forgave. So God gave you cancer. Can you believe there is any protection? No. Devil says that. See. So God is ready to kill you. No matter what, when you have a cancer, God is ready to activate the system. See? No matter what. See? So when you're worried, afraid, resentful, angry, so Satan make you say what? Why me? Angry at God. So when you're angry at God, can you allow him to do his job? No. This is spiritual principle. See? Yes. And so now you can answer this question. In what situation God can do this job best?
They trust him. Praise, thanksgiving.
That's right. When you're listening this kind of lecture and say what?
Amen.
Amen. Yes, I don't have any more fear. Yes, I didn't know this. This is wonderful. Praise God. I'm glad I have this creator, you know, who can control my gene. Hey! See? Yeah. See? Yeah. Why? Wonderful, isn't it? We have this God still creating us, still protecting us. You know? See, what a God we have. See? So it is a matter of what? Trust, right? Trust. Trust in divine power. Wow. Yeah. Trust in his character, right? Yes. So, you know, when people wake up to this truth, suddenly there's what? There's a rain of what? Pouring sparks coming down. You know? And I have seen many cancer patients. Forget about cancer. See, forget about it. Yeah. Forget about cancer. Cancer is now totally secondary. Now I'm gonna enjoy my life with my Creator. Okay? Amen.